Hey guys, today I want to present you our little Polish competitor here, Woodpecker. So let's see what they have to offer. I'm gonna say right away that I was not blown away by them, but there are some good things that are worth mentioning. So what I really liked is that when I connected my email address to Woodpecker, they already let me know if my SPF and my DKIM are configured well, and for instance, if there would be a problem with this, so I would know it right away before I started mass emailing people. And I think this is a very good idea, and I'm sure our Ola, our success manager, will also appreciate a thing like this, because it would be much quicker to deal with the spam issues before the person has actually started blasting. This is one of those little boring things I like. Different formats for file upload, for bulk upload. I like the idea that you can use XLS and not just CSV, how it is in our case. This is something I didn't like, and I just found it bizarre that no fields were mapped, only email to email was mapped, but there were fields that were named exactly the same, like first name in the CSV I uploaded was exactly the same way spelled as the first name on the Woodpecker's side, but they didn't bother mapping it, and I thought that this is really user unfriendly. This is a nice thing. This is not maybe crazy and important, but I found it pretty cool that sorry, that you can detect time zone after the import. So yeah, I know that we can detect the time zone during import, but a lot of people skip it, miss it, don't see it, and things like this. And here you can actually just select a contact and detect their time zone, which is a pretty cool thing to do. And here, since I mentioned in the beginning that this is a Polish country, so a Polish product, I mean, so they have to abide to GDPR, and they have this option of encrypting. So it's different from blacklisting, because if you blacklist some contact, yeah, you cannot carry out outreach to them, but you can still see their email address. And this GDPR encrypt actually completely both deletes it from your site and blocks it, so you cannot make outreach to them and you cannot see their information anymore. And I think that if we would aim for European market, this would be a good thing to have to make sure all those companies feel safer, you know, in terms of this GDPR. This is a common thing, well, a little, but a common thing that was asked when I was to support is, I think that we have a bit unhandy handling of CC and BCC. So CC is only on the step level, which, you know, can be a bit annoying to fill in for each step. And BCC is only for the account level, which is again a bit too broad, and you might want to BCC different campaigns to different emails. So I think this is a nice middle ground where you can actually select CC and BCC in terms of campaign settings, not step settings and not general account settings. I also liked the possibility of checking if you want to track this particular link or not. So in our case, it's just general link tracking, and some links, of course, are important to be tracked, others less. So this is a good idea to be able to separate a bit. If you send some, for instance, tutorial links, you don't care if they open it, but then you say, for instance, some registration link or some, you know, important link that you actually do want to be tracked. This is a good idea to do so. This is also a good idea. They didn't carry out it very well, but the concept I like. So we have this throttling, and I don't know how it is now, but when it was introduced, it caused massive confusion, and it wasn't very handy for users. They didn't understand it too well. So I think this is a very good idea to select, for instance, to create a list. Let's say, I don't know, designers, and to enroll from this list into a sequence 20 prospects per day, for example. And you can also, like, if I would suggest to do it, I would, for instance, also set up some triggers, like if the country is USA and the title is designer, then enroll 20 prospects per day in the sequence A. Yeah? So to be able to automate the workflow and like automate this continuous adding people to the sequence. And this is why I think this is also better idea than to just send them all to a sequence and wait for them to go through the steps, because it's not very easily manageable. In your replies, steps are sent randomly. So if you have 1,000 people, like some people will be on step 1 and others will be on step 6 and all, you know. But if you would have this continuous enrollment, it would be more step by step, and it would be easily trackable. So this is just a suggestion that I think would be cool. Yeah, and this, I know that I talk about it almost in every video, and I still will do so and continue to do so till we implement it, because I'm a big fan of this idea. Conditional logic, yes, I think it's very cool to be able to divide segment your sequence and make sure that it's like one robust system that makes your outreach very consecutive and in the same time different based on the on the interaction from the prospect. So yes, conditional logic, I really want it. It's also a small thing, rather small thing, but I liked it. It's the ability to sort the sequences on the sequence page, in the campaigns page, as they call it, by the sending email address. I have heard this request quite a few times when I was support, and then I find it very, very good idea, especially if we were aiming at bigger companies and agencies. For instance, I'm an agency employee, and today I have to handle all the email, all the campaigns from my client, and I just want to sort out all those campaigns and check them out and see if I need to do something. And also, I think this would be a very handy thing to be able to filter out the sequences based on the sending email address. I really like that they try to, let's say, create some interest level differentiators and depictions. But the conclusion I have come doing all these researches is that you can create something very interesting and very cool, but if you don't explain it to people, they don't know how to understand it and how to use it. Like interest level, how am I supposed to know what influences it? How is it calculated? What does it stand for? So there was no opportunity to figure it out from the UI, and I never read these support articles when I do these reviews, because most users don't read support articles, and I want to have this experience as a typical user. So yeah, I still don't know how this is represented and what does it mean and how is it calculated. So the idea isn't bad; it's a good idea, but yeah, I cannot use it because I don't understand it. Okay. So this one is, sorry for the typo of. So this one is a good one too. Like we have this account-based selling. So when someone replies from the same domain, we get a notification and all. That works too well. And here they just did it even, I would say, better, well, subjectively better. Like in the campaign tab, they have like a to check section, and they have like missing variables and like auto replies. What do you want to do with these people? Do you want to wait with them, or do you want to continue? And then here they have secondary replies. So when a person from a different domain, when a different person from the same domain replies, you can see this email here, and it is very handy because you can see, okay, so what they replied is actually not what I'm offering to this other person now, so I, for instance, want to continue sending. So it was pretty handy. And clicks tracking, yeah, so good and bad things. The good things is that I included two links, and they depicted two links, which is cool, which is something we don't have. But then there's no way of understanding which link is meant here. Yeah, I did click on both of them, so that's correct. But if, for instance, I would click on one and not click on the other, then how would I be supposed to know which one I clicked on? So this is less good. And also would be very cool if there would be some representation of how many times I clicked on these links. So for instance, in the AC/DC link I clicked 5 times, and here on Slayer link I clicked once, and I was curious if it's gonna show, and it doesn't show. So there is no quantity linked here, but I think it would be very cool to have this breakdown by links. Yes, so how many times each link was clicked and which link it was, because here it's impossible to tell which link this was. Okay, this I have to show you in the better see in the tool itself. So I liked how it's very dynamic. So here we see it in percent, and when we click, not click, sorry, when we hover, we see the number. And well, it was just a good idea, and I think it was way better than we did it, because we have this in our stats page. We have this all-time toggle, and it's completely unintuitive and unnatural to click for the all-time toggle to be able to see absolute numbers, and to remove it to be able to see percentages. So I think this is a way better way of dealing with it. And here, like, I checked out their integrations, and I would say that their integrations aren't too crazy. Most of them are via PySync, which is something we should do. And Zapier, they only have their native integration from the CRMs with Pipedrive. But this is something that I really found interesting. So they have this plugin that works with WordPress. And basically, when you have your site on WordPress, you install this plugin, and all the people that get registered on your site are being routed into the sequence in Woodpecker, like grabbing all the information and all. And I think this is very cool, and I think that we should do something like this as well. We should help our customers get their leads or potential customers, their potential contacts from their sites, then to reply, and then to closing deals. So this we have this like a little bridge, as I see it, between the website and the interaction of leads on the website to our sequences. Would be cool if we covered that as well. Oh, and this is beautiful in terms of UI. So in reply, we have 2 ways of handling tasks: manual and automatic. So if the task isn't completed, it goes on, and manual, you actually have to complete tasks to complete the task in order for contacts to be moving further in the sequence. And it's similar here, but here it's only manual, and it was beautiful that it said here it requires attention. And then you go to tasks, and you have this red little dot, and then you need to resolve the manual tasks in order for the sequence to continue. This is great experience, because I remember time and again when people were complaining, like, oh, my step 5 isn't sending, why is that? And then I have to check and go and see, you haven't completed all the tasks for step 4, so that's why they're stuck. And there was absolutely no way of notifying people that their tasks are first due, or that the sequence isn't sending due to that. So that was not too good in terms of UI. And here I really liked how they brought my attention to the manual part of the sequence right away. Good job. Yeah, and the tasks themselves are highly unimpressive. So it's just basically what to do, and well, the contact who it is should be done to, and it's very well, it's very bland. It doesn't give you enough information. Okay, well, so they don't even what about completed, maybe done, yeah, so basically it's nothing interesting. You can't really interact with it. It's just like a reminder. And also, this is a funny thing, so when I copy it to the clipboard and, for instance, I paste it, it's even with the stupid well, stupid HTML signs. So I was like, really? Don't let people copy something if it looks this bad. Like, imagine I would paste it and complete these tasks with this. So yeah, so the tasks are very puny. And yeah, and that's it. Let's now talk a bit about what their users liked. And they liked their intuitive UI, and I agree. It was good UI. It was good UI. It was clear. I didn't have any problems. Well, yeah, it was interested. It was a bit unclear and not good. But other than that, flow-wise, it was pretty good. Yeah, the pricing is, of course, not as high, let's say, as many other tools. So you can see where the prospects are in campaigns, the if conditions, people like that as well, and it integrates with SendGrid. So those were main points covered in the reviews. And here, what they didn't like is that there was a very poor segmentation. That is true. It was difficult to filter based on some more particular things and to form people into groups. Yeah, that wasn't good. There was no email validation. Yeah, there weren't too many automations. And reporting, yeah, it's bland. I did like that it's yeah, it switches nicely, but it's not very visual, and it's not really in depth. And yeah, and this is surprising. This is very surprising, given that it's a European company here, is that there was no way to do opt-out links. This is weird, but yeah, that's true. And here, there were not many. There were like 30 reviews about Woodpecker on G2 Crowd, and most of them were good. And what I liked here is that the person said, I think that Woodpecker chose to focus upon the cold email experience primarily, and they do this well. And this was an interesting thought for me because, well, it is great to develop and come up with new things and all, but they did choose to stick to the email automation. They have just those tasks. They don't have other things. And of course, this might seem like staying behind the flow, but I think they will still have some users, and they decided to focus on it. And actually, there are some people who appreciate it, and they just like that it's simple and that it has to offer what it has to offer. And this is just another valid. Let's say a valid choice for existing as a SaaS product. So yeah, it was an interesting insight that most people felt that way, that they understand that it lacks a lot, but they still appreciate it for what it is and for what it does. Well, I guess that's it from me. If you have anything to add, please let me know.